This is a BBC podcast. You can get all our podcasts and our terms of use at bbcworldservice.com/podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Outlook. I'm Ritula Shah. On today's programme, fighting back against tradition, the husband and wife in India who've been told to live as brother and sister by a village council. Also, escaping data in the information age, the British filmmaker who tried to disappear and why it didn't take private detectives long to track him down. We hear from Kabul's growing slums as the Afghan capital lures people desperate for jobs to its streets. And one man's tale of love and heartbreak on the web. Now, what do you look for on the web? Information and news, things to buy and sell? Or how about love? As part of the upcoming BBC's Superpower season exploring the impact of the internet on our world, Outlook's been looking at how the net has influenced love and relationships. Daniel Meadows found love on the internet after making videos and putting them on YouTube. Daniel, who's from Australia, connected with Shannon from the US. Over several months, the pair posted hundreds of videos from each other and were in touch via email and Skype as well. They were getting on so well that they decided it was time to jump off the information superhighway and head for a face-to-face encounter. Daniel sold virtually everything he owned and followed his heart across the globe. But could the virtual romance survive the rigours of the real world? When I spoke to Daniel on the line from Brisbane, Australia, I began by asking him when he and Shannon finally decided to meet.
I think it was about 6 months before we started talking about it properly, and it was more kind of a dreamy kind of one day we'll meet up and we'll do this and that.
So you finally get on a plane, you travel to the US, but when you land, there's a bit of a run-in with immigration. What happened?
Rather than sort of fly directly to LAX like a normal person would have done, I caught a different route to Japan and then Detroit. And Homeland Security questioned me and pulled me sort of out of the immigration line up there.
Why? Why do you think they were suspicious of you?
It's hard to say exactly all the reasons, but I mean, what they told me anyway was that I was travelling alone. I was on that route from Japan. They asked me quite a lot of questions about that. Why did I come through that way? I just told them that it was just, it saved me about $1,500. That was the point where I sort of got pulled out into the Homeland Security section and asked a bunch of questions.
And did you tell them about Shannon?
Well, there was a point where I was forced to explain my reasons for being there. They asked me about that. I had nothing to hide, so I explained the whole going there to meet a girl I'd never physically met before, and that just made things even worse. They didn't understand. They searched through personal emails and asked me about, the specific nature of our relationship and really in-depth questions like that.
That must have been really difficult. How long did it last?
Oh, it was like 4 hours of intense questioning overall. But before it got to that, there was this other email from a friend of Shannon's who about 3 months ago had sent me a little email because he knew I was coming to the US that said, leave your box cutters at home and leave your, exploding shoes or something like that. It's just a tongue-in-cheek sort of...
It was a joke that backfired with Homeland Security, presumably. They
exactly. They don't have a sense of humour about those sort of things.
No, well, one can understand why. So did you ever leave the airport?
Yeah, they took me in like a black SUV. They handcuffed me in the end and took me to Dearborn Prison in Detroit, and I stayed there overnight. And, I didn't know how long I was going to be there, so that was really what was freaking me out. Nobody would answer any questions. And eventually they sent me home the next day. They sent me back the same way I came.
So you're back in Australia. You didn't see Shannon. What happened to your relationship?
She flew here and she ended up spending some time here. And
she was allowed out of the airport?
Yeah. She was a bit worried about that. She actually said that she was here to see my sister because we were a bit afraid of... her getting locked up here or something like that.
When you finally met, though, did it live up to all those expectations that had been built up through all those emails and blogs and so on?
I think it did. I mean, it was just like someone that I'd known for 10 or 15 years walking through the door. We were so honest with each other online, and I think, even about personal kind of foibles and social stuff, probably more honest than we would have been if we'd known each other in real life, as it were.
But there's no fairy tale ending?
No, and as life often throws at you, I couldn't get back there and things sort of dissolved eventually, I mean, it's been nearly 2 years now.
Daniel Meadows, do email us with your stories of love and loss on the internet, outlook@bbc.com. That's it from me, Rithala Shah, and this edition of Outlook. Do join Matthew Bannister for the next one.
Thank you for downloading from the BBC. For details of our complete range of podcasts and our terms of use, go to bbcworldservice.com/podcasts.